Good morning. The American Society of Access Professionals does such important work to ensure broader access to government information and to support our professionals across the government. It is a privilege to be a part of this year's National Training Conference. I appreciate the chance to speak with all of you about the Justice Department's commitment to a government that is open, transparent, and accountable to the people we serve. The timing of this conference is especially fitting. I'm guessing some of you know this, but the upcoming 4th of July holiday marks not only the birth of our nation, but also the 57th anniversary of the passage of the Freedom of Information Act. I don't need to tell anyone at this conference that the Freedom of Information Act is a critical tool in ensuring the public's access to government records and thereby in preserving our democracy. In my time outside of government, I relied on the FOIA's disclosure mandates in a variety of roles and contexts. I've seen firsthand, from the perspective of a FOIA requester and someone who studied and used government records released under the FOIA, the importance of the FOIA for the American public and our understanding of what the government is up to. As this group well knows, it is through the FOIA that journalists, civil society, and the public remain informed in order to make real our ideal of a democracy governed by the people and for the people. As the Associate Attorney General, I am honored to serve as the Justice Department's Chief FOIA Officer and to work closely with our Office of Information Policy, or OIP, which provides training, guidance, and resources on the FOIA to employees and agencies from all corners of the federal government. I also oversee the Civil Division, which represents both the Justice Department and other parts of the federal government in FOIA litigation. As Chief FOIA Officer, I also see up close the substantial agency resources that we dedicate to administering the FOIA. And through OIP, I have an understanding of what many of you are helping to make happen in your agencies. Every year, agencies across the federal government receive and process between 800,000 and 900,000 requests, releasing millions of pages of records to the public. Just last year, the federal government processed a record high of 878,420 requests. And on top of this, agencies reported making over 32 million proactive disclosures to the public on their websites. My thanks go out to those of you in the audience who put in the many, many hours of hard work to process this record high number of requests and comply with the FOIA to make records public. Recognizing the importance of the FOIA in building our public trust and preserving our democratic institutions, last year the Attorney General issued new FOIA guidelines for the federal government that update and strengthen our commitment to transparency in government operations. The 2022 guidelines direct the heads of all executive branch departments and agencies to apply a presumption of openness in administering the FOIA. In case of doubt, the guidelines instruct, openness should prevail. The guidelines make clear that the Justice Department will not defend non-disclosure decisions that fail to apply such a presumption. And the guidelines also emphasize the importance of proactive disclosures. The guidelines also direct federal departments and agencies to continue efforts to remove barriers to access through requests and otherwise to reduce processing backlogs. I know that work is not always easy, but it is important. At the Justice Department last year, we made a change to a long-standing policy in our executive office for immigration review that had required individuals to file FOIA requests to access official copies of their own records of immigration court proceedings. We determined that not only was this not a good or sensible use of the FOIA, but it was also contributing to huge backlogs in the department's FOIA processing. The policy change was important, and our efforts are ongoing to make those records more easily accessible to individuals who want them and to reduce a backlog of requests overall. And the guidelines explicitly recognize what I touched on earlier. The federal government could not process the hundreds of thousands of FOIA requests we receive every year without our dedicated core of FOIA professionals. I'm sure many of you know, and I'm guessing that you agree with, the Justice Department's long-held view that the FOIA is everyone's responsibility. But the true promise of the FOIA is made real by the FOIA professionals who day in and day out interact with FOIA requesters, who each year conduct detailed reviews of millions of pages of government records, and who scrupulously balance the FOIA's presumption of disclosure while safeguarding important interests such as personal privacy and national security. Since the issuance of the Attorney General's 2022 guidelines, OIP has been working with agencies on implementation. And because he is one of the biggest FOIA enthusiasts I know, I am sure Bobby Talebian, our amazing director of the Office of Information Policy, won't mind my offering him up, along with his team, as a key resource to help those of you who administer the FOIA at your agencies. Agencies' efforts to implement the Attorney General's 2022 guidelines are detailed in each agency's 2023 Chief FOIA Officer reports, released earlier this year. This was the first year that agency chief FOIA officers reported on efforts directly tied to the 2022 guidelines. In these reports, agencies discussed their efforts to apply a presumption of openness in administering the FOIA, ensure a fair and effective FOIA administration, increase proactive disclosures, utilize technology, remove barriers to access, improve timeliness, and reduce backlogs. To assist agencies in implementing the guidelines, in March, OIP issued new guidance to agencies on applying the guidelines to administer the FOIA with a presumption of openness, including through the application of the foreseeable harm standard. Among other things, this OIP guidance highlights the need for agencies to process records with an eye toward disclosure by applying the FOIA's foreseeable harm analysis on a case-by-case basis. This guidance also underscores the importance of working cooperatively with FOIA requesters. OIP's Self-Assessment Toolkit is another new resource that allows agencies to objectively assess their FOIA programs with key guidance for improvement. The updated toolkit includes new modules and milestones to address the administrative appeals process, proactive disclosures, technology, and the 2022 guidelines. You can find the updated toolkit, all of OIP's FOIA guidance, including the incredibly useful DOJ guide to the FOIA, access to OIP's FOIA counselor service, and other resources on the department's website, justice.gov/OIP. In addition to these resources, OIP also provides, as it has for years, comprehensive FOIA training to agencies and their employees. Training is available through regularly scheduled workshops at the request of agencies and through standard e-learning FOIA training modules that are also available online. I am proud and frankly impressed to report that each year we provide training to over 7,000 individuals. I urge you to utilize these resources. We at the Justice Department are here to help. And if there's something that you're not seeing that you think would be of assistance in your work, please don't hesitate to let OIP know. Before I close, I want to note that the FOIA was included in the United States' 5th Open Government Partnership National Action Plan, which I think recognizes and helps highlight the global importance of the FOIA. This plan includes 3 FOIA commitments that the Justice Department is leading. First, there's the updated self-assessment toolkit that I mentioned. Second, the department has committed to further enhancing the user experience on FOIA.gov by developing a new tool to help requesters more easily find information. And third, we're working to establish shared FOIA business standards across the government. More on these efforts to come. I want to again thank the American Society of Access Professionals for facilitating this important meeting and training opportunity to help celebrate the work all of you are doing to increase government openness and transparency, to learn from one another, and above all, to help advance the proper administration of the FOIA. Thank you.